What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, and we're back with the final tune on Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark 1984 album Junk Culture. Thank you to Phil as well as to Seb and Han Solo, all of whom have shared OMD with me. And the track, I have this right? Yeah, Talking Loud and Clear. So, yeah, I suppose talking could be figurative, but the idea is that there's no ambiguity, there's no confusion, there's no opacity. Now, of course, that could be audibly. You're talking loud and clear, so your enunciation, your pronunciation, your articulation of literal words is not something like, wait, I could barely hear him, what did he say? But of course, oftentimes that phrase would mean not being indecisive or ambiguous about your meaning, not so much hearing the words literally, but not hedging or not being mixed in the intent of what you're saying. So perhaps it could function on both levels, perhaps there's some irony to the title. I'll see what I can catch. This is Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. The track is Talking Loud and Clear, and it's the final tune on their 1984 album, Junk Culture. I like that riff.
Decisions are reversed, facing one another with words that couldn't hurt. With every little word you're getting closer to me, talking loud and clear, saying just what you feel today. Talking loud and clear, saying just what we feel. Lying in the grass, we've got time on our hands. Body next to body, with silence all around. We understood each other, but didn't make a sound. Promises and promises of vows we shall return. Facing one another, I thought my heart would burn. You turned to me and wave, but then get closer to me. Talking loud and clear, saying just what you feel today.
I love that. too. I mean, I like a lot of the sonic details, but that one element which really starts low volume and then fades into a louder level, that's my favorite part. And it felt like it was a synth somewhere between a brass synth and a woodwind synth, meaning it sounded somewhere between like an oboe and a trumpet. But there's a lot of really interesting elements, and if you jumped into the middle of the track and just heard a few seconds, it might sound like a more pop, like radio kind of tune, but hearing it build from beginning to end, and especially given a couple of the sonic details, as well as just the overall dynamic nature of the tune, parts coming and going and different layered sections, it feels like it's actually a little more down the experimental OMD side of the spectrum. Like maybe somewhere in between, somewhere between their more pop sounding tunes and their more experimental tracks. But if it is more on one side than the other, I'd actually say it's more experimental, even if, again, you heard a little snippet of it, you might think, oh, it's a pleasant sounding pop tune. But really interesting sonically, lots of cool synth work, and I enjoy the sort of syncopated mid-speed or mid-pace rhythm of it. Vocally, it's sort of soft and gentle, which seems to fit. We have imagery of them lying in the grass, I think face down, because we're saying the sun on their backs, but the sun all around, and with everything they say, which is exactly what they're meaning. It's like they're getting closer to each other, and nothing else around matters. It's a bit of like we're here in the now with each other, saying what we want and feel, and everything else is secondary. Everything else is beyond our immediate concern, and it sounds sincere and genuine, but I'm not sure if there's like a more specific meaning or a narrative beyond that's implied. It feels more of a scene that's being painted, not a larger and longer story beginning, middle, end. But yeah, it sounds pleasant and sincere and trying to be as direct as possible, and seemingly there's a love, or at least an intimacy, a close proximity, maybe physically and emotionally, that comes across. So a really cool tune, and one that, again, if I'm reading the lyrics right, at least in part, is very well named, because Talking Loud and Clear sounds like it is functioning on both levels, maybe more emotionally, but if they are lying in the grass and right next to each other and everything they're saying is drawing them closer together, then it feels like everything is clear on multiple levels. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.